Something has been eating away at me for months and months and months and months and months and months. And surprise, I now am the founder of a tech company. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. Welcome to A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. This channel is dedicated to day one entrepreneurs who are standing on the edge of something big and scary, wondering if they are absolutely unhinged for considering the jump into their own business. Welcome. So I feel so giddy this episode. First of all, hi. How are you? It has been a long time since I've posted, over a month. There was just something consuming me for months, for months and months and months. Like I just couldn't put my finger on it. And everything, once I went, this is what I'm thinking, everything completely avalanched and just went crazy. And suddenly I had a software company and now I have a Kickstarter out for our first debut product. And it's just so wild how this all like cascaded. But yeah, you guys know I talk about systems and processes in place, right? Like I talk about them all the time. Like if you want to be successful with your business, the first thing you need to do is get those foundational systems and processes in place, like organization with your files, organization with the different tools that you use, all the things, right? And it really hit me my last jaunt through Asia where I was like, mid-trip, I was just like, there has to be a better way to organize my visas. There has to be a better way to organize just everything. And especially when you go to multiple countries, like it's just, you're just like, oh my God, I have multiple visas I have to be aware of. My passport expiration date might matter more in this country than this country, depending on immigration policies, whatever, what have you, right? So it was just this last, I say this last trip as if it's recent, but you guys know it's like way before my car accident. But it was just, there was something about this particular trip that something in the back of my head was like thinking, growing, stewing, marinating. And, since I was out of work for a long time, I was just trying to get through the motions of a lot of things, but also like read and write more because it was really good for me recovering from my concussion and stuff like that. And then I started getting into coding. I used to code all the time. And I was like, let me dive back into this. And yeah, I don't know what happened, but I just woke up one day and I was like, oh, it's a mobile app I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of. That's what we need, is a mobile app for location independent entrepreneurs. Boom, 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 boom. It all just went crazy. All of it just unraveled itself. It was revealed. And it was just so funny because it was like one of those things where I was like, yes, this is what I was thinking of. Just, it didn't name itself yet. It didn't reveal itself yet. And as soon it was like, hey, I'm a mobile app, I was like, oh, I guess I'm starting a tech company now. It's just so silly. Like, it's just so funny how things happen. If you've ever been in like that moment of inspiration when you start something, you'll understand why the last month and change I have just been gone is because I was suddenly knee deep in coding. I was knee deep in creating a new company. I was knee deep in preparing for a Kickstarter launch and, creating new social media profiles for it and everything. And it was just so wild how it all came together. I'm still a bit, I don't want to say numb about it. I guess kind of like very frozen about it. You know what I mean? Like everything's kind of that excitement, that launch, that honeymoon phase is like frozen in time for me right now. Those feelings are very stuck because it's just like it's very exciting. But yeah, so the company's called NomadKit Co. And it's it's based off of having a kit for a nomad, right? Nomad kit. And it will feature more software than just the mobile app that I am launching. But our first debut product is a mobile app. And what it does is it keeps track of your passport expiration date, your visas, and it can tell the difference between, a work visa and a leisure visa, right? Tourist visa. Um, and then it has a currency converter, a budget tracker for your trips, a trip itinerary planner, a weather widget. There's a country counter for fun. That's also a country counter, a continent counter, and a UNESCO World Heritage Sites counter. And there's also a medical profile. So you put in medical information that can be translated into the local language so that this way, if you are ever in a medical emergency, like I was in Vietnam last year where I was hospitalized for a respiratory issue and I just had a language barrier the whole time, you just go to your medical information and you can translate it and it lets people know, hey, you're allergic to this, you have this underlying condition, whatever, what have you, right? Like it's just all there and you're not playing Google Translate while you just are in the middle of something. It has a panic button for emergencies. So you list emergency contacts in the app. It will message the emergency contacts that you have an emergency and it will ping your location, like your coordinates, like this is exactly where you are, and will also call the local authorities number. It provides like the number and the location to the nearest embassy to you, all that kind of stuff. And it's just stuff that is based off of situations that I've been in, such as when I got robbed in Costa Rica, hospitalized in Vietnam, dealing with tons of visas, and, being kept at the border because my expiration date on my passport was not okay with the country's immigration policy. Just all these things that sometimes you don't think about when you're traveling or sometimes you forget about. And, you know, it was also based off of all the things that I've heard my friends talk about, all of my, my fellow traveling entrepreneur buddies and my fellow location independent entrepreneur buddies and my digital nomad friends and just all these things that they tell you. And it's like, I realized when we were in Thailand, we were all using like 15 different apps and literally like, I was using like 5 or 6 different apps and so was using 7 or 8 different apps and this person was using like 4 or 5 different apps and we were all sort of like duct taping together these Frankenstein versions of a system. And I was like, why don't we just have one app? Oh my God. And then, months and months have gone by and I was like, I guess I'm the person who's creating this app that I would like to have. So there we are. The app is called Beacon, like a beacon of light, but not necessarily meant to be a beacon of light. It's just so you knew what I was saying. Yeah, and it's just like this amazing thing, and I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of what it is that I'm doing. I've never built a mobile app before, and so learning all the infrastructure that I need and learning how to put together prototypes and everything like that, because I had to put together a prototype for Kickstarter. And just putting all this stuff together has been really cool and really interesting. And it's been very exciting and just like so cool to learn. And, there are things that I'm learning about GDPR compliance and HIPAA compliance and what secure servers to use and how to get how to have storage for people on a cloud and just all these things, right? Like it's like a really cool learning experience, I have to say. It's like just super neat. And, putting myself out there now as a woman in tech, as a founder of a tech company has been like really eye-opening, because now I'm following all these women in tech on TikTok, and it's just so cool to see what they're doing, and so cool to just kind of be like, hey, I'm new to the community, but I'm so happy to be here. And all the nerdiness in my life, all the nerdiness, right? All the geekitude has culminated to this moment in time where I'm very good with tech. I'm very good with computers, and I'm very nerdy techie, and I love learning about new stuff that's always happening, and I love learning about new technology, and I love just being a part of like that software world, and just like, hey, did you know that this software came out and it does this thing? I don't know what I'll do with it, but it's just really cool that it exists, right? It's just, I've always been on top of those things. And I thought it was just maybe like just for fun, for a hobby, like something I'm interested in, right? It's an interest. And I had no idea it was going to turn into this NomadKit Co. I had no idea. I would not have been able to tell you a year ago that I was going to be the founder of a tech company. Yeah. And now we're on Kickstarter. I launched the Kickstarter 2 days ago, and that's actually been a really weird and interesting thing, is like the amount of people who message you and want to learn more about your product and your vision and your campaign and stuff like that. But they also, like, they back you, then they don't back you, then they back you, then they don't back you. Like, they're not sure. And, cause like, if you don't know how Kickstarter works, like, you can pledge that you would back somebody, and then after the end of the campaign, that's when you get charged. So people are like backing me, then not backing me, then backing me, then not backing me. So it's just like, it's very interesting to see sort of like people's hesitation in someone who's new to Kickstarter. I did get a message from somebody who said, my idea is really good and it's forward thinking, and I really appreciated that, but she can't possibly back me because it's my first campaign on Kickstarter. So she's not really sure. So I appreciated that she really likes the idea. And I appreciated the honesty that they were not going to back me because I was new to Kickstarter. To be fair, this account is new to Kickstarter. I've backed people on Kickstarter before on my personal account, but I didn't feel like sharing my personal account. I wanted this to be a professional account. But I guess there's like a rapport, or like an understanding, like, hey, you've backed 30 Kickstarter campaigns or something like that, and people can see that on the account. And I didn't really consider that as like something that would be like this resume of legitimacy of using Kickstarter. So I'm not really sure if I shot myself in the foot with that, but I'm going to drop the link to that stuff if you guys are interested in checking that out. I'm going to drop the links to the website, to the new website, to Beacon, to the Kickstarter. Yeah, and it's just been like, it's been really interesting. But I think I'm still in sort of like this surreal euphoria of just having started a tech company. And I think, and it's for travel tech specifically. It's travel tech for location independent entrepreneurs. That's who it's for, right? This is not just like, oh, I'm building a software that anyone could use. Like I do have like a demographic that I am reaching out to with the ideas that I have. But yeah, it's just really it's so different because it is still travel related in its own way, but it's also one of those things where like everything has always been so non-technical. Everything has always been so like content creator, social media, blog, website, YouTube platform, whatever. It's always been sort of like ingrained in all of the stuff that I've been working on for 10 years, right? And now I'm reaching out to a community that, although they put themselves on TikTok, and they, these women in tech and these techies put themselves on TikTok or Instagram, or some people are on Kickstarter or YouTube or whatever, there's like brand new communities out there that I've never, new to me communities that are out there that I've never heard of, that now I'm part of some of them. And it's like, it's really exciting. It's so cool. And people are asking questions that are so right on the edge of what it is that I understand. So people will ask something about an API and they're having a challenge with it integrating with something else. And I'm like, oh, I'm not 100% sure what this means. And it's like a challenge to learn. And I love where I'm at right now with this, where it's like, this is a question I would be asking probably about my app. So let's go down this rabbit hole. And it's just been so cool to learn like all these different programs and to be coding on my weekends, right? Like I'm just like coding. That's it. I'll look up and it's like I started coding at noon. I brought a couple Dr. Peppers to sit with me, and suddenly it's 1 in the morning and I've spent over 12 hours coding and my weekend is gone and I have to go back to work. And I've actually been feeling quite tired during the week because I'm very excited and I'm very enthusiastic, but I have not been giving myself a break from working for like a month straight. My weekends are spent coding and developing and working on the Kickstarter and working on the prototypes and getting the foundation in place for what the foundation of this app should look like and working with mockups in Figma so I know how, the layout of how I want everything to look and everything like that. And it's just been a wild ride. But I realize I'm very tired during the week with work. Like I come home, it's been really great outside in terms of weather. So although this week it's like 100 degrees every day. But I come home from work. As you guys know, I work night shift and I take my dogs to the dog park because the sun is coming up by the time I get home. Take the dogs to the dog park, bring them home, go to bed. And then I wake up and I go to work. Rinse, repeat throughout the week. And then my 3-day weekend, I am coding. I'm making videos for TikTok about Beacon, to kind of push a little bit out into the universe. And yeah, like it's just been so crazy. And you know what's really funny? What's really, well, not funny, but like kind of heartwarming, right? Is my dad was my dad was a software architect, right? Like he had his PhD in, I think, software architecture. I think. Or it was his master's was in like software architecture and his PhD was in like some sort of data sciences, something or not. I don't know. Brilliant things, right? And I just kind of thought that I was never smart enough to do any of that stuff. And now I'm finding like it's very interesting. It's very fascinating. I understand all of it. I'm doing just fine with it. And it's making me miss my dad a little bit because I'm just kind of like, there are things that I'm learning how to do that I know that if I text that man at 3 a.m. and I was like, Dad, guess what I did on the computer with React Native? And my dad would be like, oh yeah, I've learned how to do that since I was 10. Like he'd be such an ass about it. But I know that he would be like really proud and happy for me that I like launched a tech company. I know he'd be happy that I'm spending my weekends coding. And so it's just kind of interesting to think that there's still this connection to my dad, even though he's, been gone for 6 years now. And it's just really cool to think that there's like something of him living on, even though it's me doing it, right? Like, it's just so cool to think that there's like me nerding out over tech and geeky stuff is like something my dad did. And just to think that that's something that I'm carrying with me is like really fun and really cool. That I'm just kind of like, there's still a little bit of my dad in the universe living, enjoying things and enjoying tech and enjoying this and enjoying that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a nice thought that a man who couldn't find happiness with himself has kids who are doing their best to find happiness in those things, right? Like, and I hope like that wherever it is that he's found peace, he's just kind of like, yeah, like I love when she gets a new microphone, or like I love that she's on this coding kick right now. Um, so it's just like a nice little heartwarming thought that I had about him. Um, and I think like you know how like you get like really weird about your parents bragging about you? Like you're always just kind of like your parents, like sometimes they choose like the wrong moment to brag about you, and you're just like, oh my god, what do you like, this is really embarrassing and I am mortified, and what are you doing? But I think there are also times where like you do something and you just really wish that your parents would brag about you, and I feel like this is one of those times where like I know my dad would be bragging about me, like, oh, my daughter started a software company. So it's just like I just hear him talking to all of his friends and his tech buddies about just like, yeah, I know she travels a lot and now she started a travel software company. Like I just hear him, and it doesn't make me sad, which is nice because there's a lot of times I think about my dad and it just like instantly brings me down because that man suffered so much in his final years that it was just like it was so rough to see him as him, because it was like, he'd have a lucid sober moment and for a couple weeks and you'd be like, oh, I missed this guy, um, and then months and months would go by of like this drunken stupor again. And, um, it was just so rough. So to have these really great moments that I think about him that are very heartwarming, it's just like a nice change because normally like, this is the time of year that's a little rough because this is the anniversary of his death. And, um, you know, it does always make me think about things, and it makes me kind of reevaluate my own mental health and make sure that like I'm okay. And, um, yeah, so it's just nice. It's just nice to have nice thoughts. You know what I mean? It's just nice. With all of this being said, you're probably like, Tabitha, I've gotten this far in the video. Well, as of recording, it's 24 minutes. Tabitha, I've gotten like 20 minutes into this video, and I'm just wondering how it is that you're going to help me because you always have tangible takeaways. You're right. I really try to have tangible takeaways for you. So I think there's something to be said when something is eating at you, when there is a gut instinct about something, when something makes you pause and go, there's an easier way for that, or there's a better way for this, or why doesn't somebody make this, right? When you think about those things, when you're the person that stops and goes, why doesn't somebody do something about that? Point at you. Be the person who does something about it. I think there's something to be said for being the creator of the solution to the pain point that you have. Because the thing is like, as a traveler, there are things that I'm like, well, if I'm having if I'm having trouble with this thing, I'm not the only traveler having trouble with this thing. And when I was talking to my traveling friends and my digital nomad friends specifically, and my location independent entrepreneur friends specifically, and my location independent worker friends specifically, remote workers, like however it is you want to define them, right? When I would ask them questions and I would talk to them about things and I'd be like, hey, what is like your biggest gripe about traveling internationally so much? And it was the same like 5 things. And I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apps. Not all of them are together. Not all of them speak to each other. Not all of them know that the other one exists. And it's so irritating when you have like a currency converter app and you have the world clocks on your phone, and then you have a weather app, and then you have, your travel itinerary, which sometimes is an email or notes or saved videos of, reels and TikToks and stuff like that. And it's like, what if it just all existed together and it all spoke to each other and it was amazing and beautiful? And Tabitha, you're so smart and amazing, and good job with NomadKit Co. Thank you so much for saying so. But I think what's really important is when something is eating you like that, and I've learned this working in logistics as well. When you go, there has to be an easier way for this because this doesn't work and this doesn't work. You're the person figuring it out. And there's a lot of times that I will be part of kaizens and gembas where it's like a problem is presented and I'm like, yeah, that is really difficult. And yeah, it's really annoying that that's difficult. Let's come up with a game plan, and my job is all about like flexibility and adaptability and making changes and continuous improvement and all that kind of stuff, right? And, so to sit here and to be like this little underdog going into the travel sphere, which I love the travel sphere, but as like a tech person and not like a content creator person is so different and unique, but it feels so good and it feels so right. And I love it so much. So if something is eating away at you, I highly encourage you chase that feeling because it usually means you are onto something. And even if you can't put your finger on it today, right now, in this moment in time, that's okay. But something's going to happen where you're like, oh my God, I just wish this was easier. And the light bulb is going to go. And you're going to be like, that's it. That's the thing. That's the thing I've been searching for. And that's what happened with Beacon when I was just like, I was cleaning up my phone. I was organizing it. And I was like, oh yeah, I downloaded all this for this country. And I downloaded this for that country. And I was like, Tabitha. Oh, I hit the microphone. It's an episode. But it was definitely one of those where I was like, Tabitha, this answer has been staring you straight in the face for years. Years. Do something about it. And here we are. Here I am doing something about it. So if you're a location independent entrepreneur and you're interested in my app, again, the Kickstarter link that has like a bunch of information about the features, and there's a video of me walking through it. And there's still pictures of the one prototype. Like you can absolutely check that out. I think you should check it out if you're interested. And, you can check out the links to the NomadKit CO website and the Beacon app website. And yeah, it's just been so crazy. It's been so cool. It's been so fun. And I can't stress enough how important it is to trust your gut with things, because this feels, out of all of my ideas, right? This one feels top notch. It really does. And I'm not saying that my other ideas were bad, right? I'm not. But this one feels like I'm grabbing the bull by the horns. You know what I mean? Like I've got it on lockdown. And it's just really cool to have that feeling. This really confident, yeah, this is the one kind of feeling. So just trust your gut. If something is eating away at you about your business or some kind of something could be easier or better, like just trust that you're onto something. And I know that it's like, oh, I don't know, Tabitha, I don't know about trusting myself, blah, blah, blah. You got to trust yourself. You've got to believe in yourself, like that you know what it is that you're doing, that when you sense that something isn't working, right? And there's a difference between I like how this works and I don't like how this works, right? That's like a personal opinion. But when you look at something and you go, this doesn't work and this does work, right? It's more objective. And when something is not working for you and multiple or many other people, and you go, that's not working. That's not working for me. That's not working for her. That's not working for him. You're onto something. Chase that feeling, chase that wonder, chase that curiosity, because at the end of it, you're going to find that there is an answer there for you that makes you go, I just found my next product. Boom. boomskis, dunzo. You know what I mean? And that's what happened with NomadKit CO and Beacon. It just something was eating away at me for months, and I'm like, I can't figure out what it is that I'm like, why doesn't this work for me? And it was when I started going through my phone and I was organizing apps, and I was just like, bang, light bulb, fireworks, dynamite. It was crazy. And I was just like, oh my God, sorry, give me a pen. Sorry, give me a pen. Like, it just, you know, it was just amazing. And I feel really good about the idea, and I'm really happy, and it's been really fun. It's been really cool. So that's all I got for today, is just trust your gut feeling, be confident in yourself, trust what you got going on, and chase those things that are eating away at you, because you're going to be very surprised what you find at the end is like the next big thing for you. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful. But this is also more of an announcement and like a, hey, this is why I've been gone for a month. But I still hope this video was helpful and kind of entertaining. Yeah. But again, thank you so much for watching. The links to checking out the Kickstarter and NomadKit CO website are in the description of this video. Have an amazing day, and I will see you next time, whenever that is.